Lame, miserable?
No.
I'm less miserable now?
Yes, you are, because you've been entertained.
Negatory.
This movie is so good.
This movie is awful.
It
is the most awful thing that I have ever attempted to watch. Titanium Tuesday.
Now you're just doing clickbait.
No, I'm seriously.
The most awful thing you've ever watched?
It was. I had to take this in bites, and I'll be honest. I did not bite the whole thing yet.
Oh,
It was miserable.
Well, here's the thing that I do understand about this musical is that it does require a particular taste to enjoy, and I am a crazy man who does thoroughly enjoy it.
But it did really well.
As it should.
442.7 million apparently in the box office.
Lots of big names.
Huge names.
Yeah.
It's
a huge.
I remember too that Anne Hathaway cutting her hair. They made a big deal of that
because she really did it,
right?
Yeah, which I mean is a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big deal.
I feel like she's pretty well known for her hair.
Yeah.
Not that it's amazing. Now we're going to start digging a hole. I got my shovel ready, but I feel like she's always known for her long hair and stuff like that in the films, and it's usually pretty standard. And so for her to shave it, to me, it would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd shave my head, but whatever.
Well, that's a whole different aspect.
Yeah.
My wife just got a haircut.
Like
she got
that?
12.
She was inspired, was she?
She didn't. No, she would never be inspired by this film. She cut 12 inches off. Yeah, which is pretty crazy. I don't know. It's a journey about yourself, or not yourself, but the self, and can man change, and how do we deal with the fact? Like, I mean, Javert was the whole thing with him was that men can't change. Prisoners are going to be prisoners,
right.
And there's nothing that's possible. While Jean Valjean's whole principle is that what have I done with my life to get here, and can I truly change and have a positive impact on the world?
What's your conclusion?
I would say yes. Well, here's the thing I was thinking about on the way here is that the idea of people, and I think at the end it does show him have genuine change versus, maybe a pseudo change. The thing that allowed him to be mayor and get a huge status quo was a pretty big donation from the good old Catholic Church.
Right.
And so I would say even up until the end, it would be hard to tell if he had genuinely changed, or if he was pushed to the same circumstances where he had nothing, would he make the same choices? Right. Which we don't necessarily see. But we do see, in where I think he does is, oh gosh, the daughter, whatever her, I should know it. Starts with a C. Cosette, yes. Like that was his whole world to him, and I think that's really what changed both him and Anne Hathaway's character. Made him feel love, and they talked about it like, you see love, you see the face of God, which is an interesting quote. And so I do think that was more of the turning point. I mean, he has multiple steps in his life that really help him cement his change. But him saving, name starts with an M. It's all French names. I am terrible with French.
Who?
The guy who was in
Marius?
Marius, yeah. And save him through the sewer and filth and crap.
Right.
His words, like, yep, one push comes to shove, is he going to choose fight or flight? And that time he did fight, and so.
Yeah, so for me,
this is the most
Sacha Baron Cohen was in it.
That's true. She was. Yes, sorry. I don't. Yeah.
You're putting your hand in my camera again, dude.
I am. Oh, look at that. It's right there. Ooh. I'm a little close. All right. Yes. I don't know. When it comes, I was really excited for this movie, and this is where the audience
we tightened up the space. You're not used to that.
I know.
Yeah.
We're really well. We're not
It's all
close,
right.
but everything
Nobody
else
cares.
is. Nobody cares, Sean. Here's where the audience can let us know who's right on this, in the sense of I thought this was
It was
very
terrible.
interesting dynamic on what a Titanium Tuesday is, because it's
I'll
very
give you that.
it's very different.
I'll give you that.
And I still think it, with the parameters that we have, that's very, very loose. I think it fits in. And it's, to me, it's more of morality of man, than some of the other Titaniums that we have done recently.
Yeah. No, there's validity to it for
Yeah.
sure. I'm not saying that. But as far as any kind of like enjoyment,
Entertainment value.
there's
Zero.
I mean, I'm getting a headache thinking about it.
2.7.
It's just terrible.
Oh, you're probably going to
It's-
one. Would this
it'd
be a 1?
This would be a freaking 0.7, man. This wouldn't even make a 1. See, the thing that was awful, I mean, did they say anything?
No, they don't. It's a musical.
This isn't a musical.
There's sometimes where
This
he would
is
say
like
things
way
under
past
his
the music.
breath.
Yeah.
It's a play.
It's
That's what. Yeah, I
it-
don't mean what you would really consider it.
It's really, really way too long. I just couldn't handle it.
It's in 3
It-
parts too.
It's
You see Javert before
right.
Pearl, him breaking Pearl and becoming mayor, and then Life with Child. It is long, and I'll give that to basically
They
anything.
wanted to make it like 4.5 hours long.
They can go longer. Well, to be fair, you look at the Lord of the Rings extended editions; those are 4.5 hour
Well,
films.
the Zack Snyder,
that's a 4-hour film.
right? And it was
Justice
too. We
League.
talked about that. We
That
didn't
was
talk
too
about
long.
the film specifically, but we talked about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
That it was too long.
Yeah,
And the only reason I watched it because I was sick.
that's fair. And the reason they had to make that long is because I would say, again, if we're going to break down all the movies we watched in the length that they've been, is that the reason they had to do it in those films is because they were building character. Like Eternals was another one where
Right.
they should have made it longer, or a TV series. And Justice League had to be that long to be at least somewhat enjoyable, because they had to show all these backstories that hadn't existed up to that point that were pretty major characters. This movie, I don't know. The music's great. It is probably better as a musical if you like musicals or whatever this thing is considered. Has great music, in my opinion. And I know I'm right. Russell Crowe is not a great singer. I will say that.
No, he's not a
He
great
should not
singer.
be a singer. Hugh Jackman, phenomenal. And
Well, they
Hathaway.
say Anne Hathaway left them in tears in her audition.
Yeah, which I can believe.
Yeah.
It was good, even though she didn't have a ton. Amanda Seyfried, not a huge fan of her
Miley
singing.
Cyrus, I think, was
Considered?
considered. I don't know for whose role though.
Wild.
Let me see if I have it.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
No, Eponine or whatever.
Oh.
That's who she was considered.
Eponine was actually she actually played, I think she played Cosette on the actual Broadway.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And the Pope character that you meet at the beginning where he gives all the silver was actually the original Jean Valjean on Broadway.
Gives all
Yeah,
this.
gives. Yeah. He does. I mean, he steals it and then he gives
After.
them, "Oh, you left too early. You do. You've left the best behind."
All right. That's Titanium Tuesday, folks.
Yeah, I guess.
Let us know what you think. It's like, seriously,
You want to see us fight? This is where we fight.
this is where we fight.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
100% wrong. To put
It
it
happens.
under a 1 under entertainment. There is much
It-
worse films we have seen than this that we have not gone under a 1.
No. I couldn't handle this. I don't know.
This is where
Like,
do
I
understand.
had to, it was bad.
If we were picking
I
one
don't
that
know.
I would
I
think
just
you'd
can't even say
enjoy,
it.
this is not one I'd pick. And I knew that going
No,
into
right.
it.
Yeah.
Versus, like, I knew, like, within, like, A Star is Born, like, those actually have more. This is an engaging story to me. But to not even a general audience.
I think I would be extremely interested in the story had it not been a musical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if this was...
It's a book.
Right.
Which is wild. It's one of the biggest Broadway productions ever, too.
Right. So
it was just fun to see. It was a big set. CGI was definitely CGI. Sorry, I can talk about this film for a while. But yes, this is Les Mis. This is the two perspectives that most people have on Les Mis.
it is.
It's either you hate it, which I understand, or you love it, which I understand more. And you can tell us what side of the scale you are on, dear audience, at LegitQ and Manny'sMovieMix.com.
He nails it, folks.
Peace.
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.